I built this tall cabinet for my laundry and then it fell apart. But that was a few days ago, so let me catch you up to speed. 3 months ago, I decided to renovate my laundry. This is what it used to look like, and this is what I want it to look like. So I took the laundry apart, fixed it up to where it's ready for cabinets, and then I find out that custom-made cabinets were $6,000. So I decided to build them myself. Even though I've never built cabinets before, I didn't think it would be hard. But I'm up to the challenge, and I'm gonna start with this big, tall cabinet. There was a lot of planning before I started this project because I was not sure that I could do this. So first I made a drawing of what I wanted the laundry to look like. After taking measurements and deciding what size the cabinets will be, I then drew the cabinets with measurements so I could create a cut list and figure out how much wood I would need. You might not have to draw everything like this, but I'm a very visual person, so this helped me a lot. After all the planning, Tony and I went to Lowe's to get birch plywood. Let's put the edge. Sorry. I had one of the associates cut the plywood into smaller pieces so it would be easy for me to carry. They're kind of heavy. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do is do a quick sand with 220. I think it's easier if I sand it all as one piece. That way I don't have to worry about sanding little pieces later. This is going to be one of the panels that are going on the side of the washer and dryers. My plan is to stain it. So I picked one of the prettiest sides of the wood, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out part of the panel, leaving like a little lip on the top and the bottom for support, because I want the panel to reach the wall, but only at the top and the bottom. I just want to make sure, these panels are so heavy that I want to make sure that it is fully supported, but I can't do the whole panel against the wall because I can't block the washer and dryer connection. I think this is gonna work. Anyways, sanding. So I started the first cut with a jigsaw so I could curve around the lip that I'm leaving on the panel. I then used a circular saw to cut through the panel using a Craig straight edge to make sure that the cut was perfectly straight. So now I'm getting ready to cut, and after I cut this is the point of no return. So I have it laid out to where it has to be cut perfectly. If I miscut something, I will probably have to buy another sheet of plywood. Wish me luck, and I hope I don't miscut anything. Measure twice, cut once, right? When I cut that piece, I don't know if it's because where the grain is going, but you see how badly it chipped? It didn't show on the other side, so maybe I should have cut this upside. This is the top side or the visible side. I should have cut this upside down. I didn't know it was gonna chip that bad. This part is actually not going to be that visible, so it's not that big of a deal, but I'm not too happy with those chips. So I have to be able to repeat this cut. This part right here is the top and the bottom of the little cabinet that's going on top of the washer and dryer. Because they're both gonna go in between the panels, it's very important that they're the same exact size. I think what I'm gonna do here, I already decided actually. I'm gonna use my first cut as a template, and I'm gonna draw a line. That way I know that it is exactly that size. I hope I can set up this saw blade exactly where it needs to be, so these two pieces end up being the same size. We'll see. also added blue tape to help avoid the chipping that happened on the last piece. Okay, the chipping's not that bad. Now the moment of truth. Let's see if this is the same size. So remember that 1/16 of an inch difference is bothering me. Like, I went to sleep thinking about that 1/16 of a difference. So I went and measured it and saw, okay, how bad can it be? That's just enough to piss me off. So I'm gonna fix it. So 1/16 of an inch is like really tiny. I'm going to cut it through the table saw, but I'm gonna use a sacrificial piece of wood here as the fence because I do not want the fence that close to the blade. So he's kind of sad, you see, because he knows he's about to be sacrificed. I think like the thickness of the blade is even thicker than what I need to cut. So that's why I'm putting a little piece of wood here because it's just gonna be really close. It's like I'm just like literally like cutting a hair out of the wood. So I hope that works, and I hope I don't cut it deeper than I need to, because then that means I have to cut the other piece too. Okay, let's hope that works. Since the blade was too thick, I cut into the wood fence, leaving just enough of the blade out to shave a hair out of the wood. I know, Misty, you wanna play, but I'm working. Give me a minute. Okay, let's try that. Can I help you? It worked? So the way I'm attaching the top and bottom to the tall panel is using pocket screws. Oops. And I'm making the pocket holes with a Craig Jig 720 Pro. So I'm gonna start putting it together. To hold it in place while I do the pocket screws, I'm gonna use this little L-shaped clamps, which should help me hold it together without me having to hold it in place. They're pretty cool, so they have become pretty useful, especially for this type of project when you're trying to like attach two pieces of wood together like this. All right. Ouch. I need a tape measure. Ouch. Okay. So I have a problem. I spent so much time making sure that this board that I just put on was straight, level, and at the right height. Spent a lot of time checking that. But I didn't make sure that it was flush in the front. And this is like the front of the panel, so it has to be flush. So the first thing you're gonna see is where the doors are gonna be against. So now I gotta take it apart, re-drill the pocket holes, and do it again. And I gotta take it apart before the glue dries, because otherwise it'll probably make a mess. And I don't wanna ruin this board. I'm pretty upset at myself because I knew that I had to make sure that it was flush, and I forgot. I made sure of everything else, but I forgot about this one. So I cut some spacers that are the same size of this panel, which is 27.5 inches, to put at the bottom as support. So when I put this panel on top of here, do the pocket holes. Wait, do I have to do that? Or can I? Now I'm thinking, like, why couldn't I do it? Maybe I don't have to do that. No, I still have to do that because it's gonna... The bottom doesn't have any support like up here, so I just cut these to use as support in the meantime. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. That's not holding on. So by putting too much pressure on this, when put it upside down, it made this wobbly. So those screws are not really holding up the support on this. So I'm gonna have to support it a different way. So I'm not 100% sure what to do, but I think that I'm gonna use that piece as support, and I'm gonna put it inside of the cabinet piece, so it's not really gonna be visible unless you open the cabinet. Then I'm gonna screw it straight onto the panel from this side, and I'm gonna do the same on the other side when I put it together, hopefully without falling apart this time. But these screws are not holding up at all. Like, it is wobbly. When I first put it on, it did seem to be steady, but I must have, when it dropped, it just must have lost all support. I think this is gonna work. So I cut this a little bit shorter than the first piece I showed you because of the hinges. So I gotta do this keeping in mind the hinges, and it should be fine. It's kind of hard to show you because this is in the way, but I did test that the hinges will be in the right place. So this is about 1.5 inches. I also pre-drill all the holes, and then I'm just going to screw it that way so it attaches to this board, and then I'm also going to screw it this way so it attaches to this board. And I'm keeping in mind the size of the screws that I'm using to make sure that the screw doesn't go all the way through the other side where it's visible. I'm going to try this again. I still can't attach it like this because the front is facing down, and I really need to make sure that the front is aligned perfectly, so that's why I did it sideways the first time. So I still need to do it sideways, but I'm gonna try to secure it this time before I turn it. This piece is temporary. It's just so I can move this around without the bottom just going like, you know. So my camera died, and while my camera was charging, I built support in the back, and this is temporary support just to transport it because I have to move this from here to the inside of the house at some point, and also so it's not wobbly. I use screws in the back since they're not going to be visible. I have to do the same in the front somehow, but without screws. I think I'm going to do a piece of wood, and I'm just going to clamp it instead until we get it to where it needs to go. Done. I'm really happy with how the cabinet turned out. It's exactly what I pictured, but I think I overcomplicated how I made it. That's just my lack of experience. But I got it done, and I think I could be more efficient next time because I learned a lot from this project. But I'm not done yet because next week I have to stain the cabinet, build the doors, and we get to put it inside the house. Except that I built it too big because it didn't fit. Time to butcher the cabinet.